Want to learn how to remove prefixes and suffixes? Want to learn what string errors are and how to handle them? If so, stay tuned. Hello and welcome to Learn Python. In the previous lesson 3, we looked at string methods and how to use them. Additionally, we learned how to format by adding and removing whitespace. In today's lesson number 4, we will look at how to remove prefixes and suffixes from strings, and additionally how to avoid syntax errors caused by apostrophes in strings. We will start this lesson 4 with removing a prefix. A prefix is simply something at the beginning of a string. A very common example is a website address. Go ahead and type this: https://www.python.org/. In this example, the https:// is the prefix. And perhaps we only want the remainder to be printed. To do this using a method called removeprefix, go ahead and create a new variable called website. And let's print, open brackets, the website, dot remove prefix, open brackets again, and type that prefix that you want removed before wrapping it in close brackets. Run this program, and you will see the output prints www.python.org/, and obviously without the prefix. Something important here to note. Just like we learned in lesson 3 with the strip method, doing this, adding this method, doesn't permanently change the original variable unless you save the result. I can prove this. Let's go ahead and print website. Run the program, and you will see that by printing website, it prints the original string, which includes the prefix https://. Can you remember from the previous lesson how to permanently save this into the variable? Well, let me show you anyway. So, go ahead and write the variable name, website, equals, and you can see VS Code has finished for us. What it has done is saved the method back into the original variable, which will remove https://. Now we can go ahead, run this program, print website again. And from the results in the terminal, we can see that the prefix has been automatically omitted. A suffix, on the other hand, is just something instead of at the beginning of the string. It's located at the end of the string. A very common example is a file extension. For example, a text file might end in .txt. So let's print the following example. Create a new variable called filename equals, open quotation, Python_notes.text. What we want to do here is to print this variable with the method removesuffix. and in brackets include what the suffix is. Run the program, and you will see that python_notes.txt has been outputted without the .text. Again, as with the previous example, where we removed the prefix, you do have to build in the permanent removal. Can you pause the video for a moment and try to figure out yourself how to do it? Okay, now that you've tried, let's see, were you correct? Let's build the remove suffix and stating what that suffix part of the string is into the file name. And let's reprint this file name. And we can see it has automatically been removed. These two examples, the remove prefix and remove suffix, they're very small tools to learn, but they are practical, especially working with file names and website addresses. Moving on to part 2 of lesson 4 today, avoiding syntax errors with strings. We will now look at a very common beginner mistake when working with strings. Sometimes you want to write a sentence that includes an apostrophe. For example, the sentence could be, the cat's favorite hobby is knocking mugs off tables. Here, the apostrophe in cats can cause a problem if you use the wrong type of quotation marks. Let me show this as an example. If we were to assign this string to the variable message, and to wrap this string in quotation marks, and we print that message, we should expect to see in the terminal the message has been printed. The cat's favourite hobby is knocking mugs off tables. This works fine. Why? Because the whole string is wrapped in double quotations. So the apostrophe inside, it does not confuse Python. Now, let's try something a little different. Change these double quotation marks to single quotation marks and rerun the program. We have got an error. Why is this? This is because Python sees the first single quotation as the beginning of the string. It then assumes that the string has ended at the second single quotation mark after the T. When it reaches here, it thinks that the string has ended too early. Therefore, the rest of the line no longer makes sense in Python. And that is what causes this syntax error. The simple rule here to understand is that if your sentence contains an apostrophe, it is usually easier to wrap the whole string in double quotations. That keeps the code clear and avoids confusing Python. This is one of those small mistakes that almost every beginner makes. In fact, even experienced programmers can make small mistakes like this from time to time. But the important thing is to understand why the error happens, so that when you see it, you know exactly how to fix it. That concludes lesson 4, where today we learned how to remove prefixes and suffixes from strings. Additionally, we learned how to avoid syntax errors caused by apostrophes in strings. If you found this video helpful, please do subscribe and like the video. It really helps the channel to grow. And join us in the next lesson 5, where we will learn how to use basic arithmetic, powers and order of operations in Python, Additionally, what floats are and why some decimal results can look strange. And finally, the rules that Python follows when arithmetic returns an integer or a float.